adverse fact. The definition reads, something that significantly and adversely affects the value of a property, significantly reduces the structural integrity of improvements to real estate, presents a health risk to occupants of the property, or information that indicates that a party to a transaction is not able to or does not intend to meet the obligations under a contract made concerning a transaction. So as we've talked about, I mean, purchasing property, selling property, transfer of property is a real serious business. There's a lot of money involved, lots of obligations that go with that. The code of ethics dictate that a real estate agent has to disclose any adverse facts about the property that we're listing, or if we're a buying agent and we're helping someone find a house and we see things. I mean, we're required to, but you should do it because it's the right thing. It's ethical. To point that out to our buyers, we don't want to find a house for someone just for them to have a $10, $20, or $30,000 repair that has to be done a few years down the road, or just something that they're not happy with. I mean, anyone who's worked with us to buy a house, you've heard that over and over from us. Is this going to make you happy in your day-to-day life? And the other thing we're always looking at is resale. I mean, if we get the dual benefit that this is a really great house with some potential for great resale down the road, that's always a huge plus. And there are things that we point out. First floor laundries, a bathroom on the first floor. A lot of people like to have at least one bedroom on the first floor in case mom or dad ever need to move in. There's lots of things like that make certain homes more appealing than others. But anyway, let's break this adverse fact down into 4 little sections. The first one is something significantly affects the value of property. That would be if a seller, say, if he knows that his property is on a floodplain and he's maybe didn't list that in his disclosures and is trying not to point that out because his property is just barely included in that. Or maybe if there's a fuel tank buried underground that he's aware of but just plays dumb about it. I mean, which is a huge expense down the road for someone to remove that and possibly remediate the soil in that immediate area. So that would be one of those things that would bring down the value of the property that a person should disclose if they know. The second one is significantly reduces the structural integrity. So if you know you have foundation issues, that's something, that's going to affect the structural integrity of the home. It's just something that you should be upfront about. The other one's presents a health risk to occupants. So say you own a home and you've had mold issues. I mean, no one wants to admit that. No one wants to, bring light on that. But the reality is that if you have that in your home, more than likely a home inspector is going to find it, and it's going to come up before the home goes to closing. But you certainly should be thinking of the next person buying the house. If you got some young family moving in there, you don't want to have their kids exposed to that. So that would be an example of a health risk issue that someone should obviously disclose. And the last one, if a party to a transaction is not able to or does not intend to meet the obligations under the contract. So, and that just means anywhere from if you know someone, if there's a lien on a property and they probably can't actually sell it without that lien being paid off. Now, those things come up during title searches and other things like that. There's just any number of things that a person may not be negotiating in good faith. And that's something that as an agent, if we realize at one point in time, whether it's our client, our client isn't negotiating in good faith, we have to bring that to their attention and rectify the situation or encourage them to find a different agent. Because, this is a real serious business and there's a lot of money involved in it. And people, build their futures and significant parts of their life around the home that they live in. So, we always suggest to our sellers, be honest, forthcoming about any issues that they've had past or present with the house. Just put it into disclosure. That way you're protecting yourself from future liability. If something arises, you could be like, hey, I even mentioned that there's some light leaking in the basement during heavy rain. So if it becomes a more significant problem down the road, they can't say, oh, you never said anything, and there's no way you didn't know about this. It's just a way to eliminate any of those concerns, and you can walk away feeling better. So anyway, that is adverse facts broke into 4 different sections. Please give Belinda and I a call if you have any questions. Obviously, if you need help with any real estate, but if you have any questions, we're always happy to help.